Inspirație zi de zi de la oameni diferiți. 3, 6, 5.
If you guys are ready,
I am.
I am.
I am.
I propose we start. But first of all, I want to say thank you because you accepted my invitation. And today we're going to have let's call it a new format. We have here Hugo and Arthur, two lovely men that are building their dream as we speak. And
Trying to build it. And we decided to go with this flow because they're building something together, so why not do the podcast together? First question. Who do you admire the most and why?
Who do you want to answer first?
Who has the courage?
Well, I can start, but you will be maybe a bit disappointed.
Why?
Because I don't... I try like to think about like if I have like a model, but I don't really think I have like a model.
You've never had?
Not really. I'm like taking inspiration like from people.
You have a certain type of people rather than just one name?
No, I will just like take inspiration of like can be family, friends, can be like I don't know, like artists, sports.
Okay. So there's not a certain name that goes with this?
No, because I prefer like to take like best of like people who I can admire, you know, but there is like no one who can just like be on top of like all these people.
I don't admire anyone in particular, I would say, but just admire people that can like really like have perseverance, I would say, because that's my thing. Like, you know, I'm a creative person. Like, I go in a lot of direction. I have a lot of ideas, but perseverance is like one of my biggest issues. Is that I start some stuff, I stop some stuff, I go in another direction, and actually that's something that I admire. Is that people that like can really stick to like a schedule with a lot of discipline, and like that's something I don't have. I clearly lack of. And with that project, it's also a big challenge because that's something we have to do in the long term, and I'm really working on it. And I'm sure that's something also that is hard, like when you are young, because for sure you still have a lot of time, you can choose everything, but it was hard for me to stick to something and just like do everything for it to be realized. And it's not a person in particular, it's more like a state of mind, generally, mindset.
Cool. Second question. What new habits have you developed in the last year or years that changed your life in a positive way? Okay, Hugo. Let's go.
So yeah, I started to have a mic déjeuner when I was 25. So like for a really long part of my life, I was waking up, having coffee, feeling so bad.
Directly on an empty stomach, no?
Yeah, exactly. And waiting for lunch, you know. And when I started to work after lunch, I was sleeping. In the morning, I was sleepy. So it wasn't like the best way of living. So I started like to tell myself like you need to do something. I forced myself, and now so far like I get a huge breakfast every morning, and I feel really good with a lot of energy, and like my days are not the same anymore.
Thank God for mic déjeuner, no?
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't think about this, but if I like thought about this, I also like start like to be more like let's say strict on like having like you know like good lunch.
On food generally.
Yeah, on
having
food generally.
A steady meal plan. Something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
exactly.
Okay.
Like to be more like focused, like to stop like, you know, like drinking soda, like eating. Well,
Okay,
I
so
still
there's
eat a lot of like
sugar.
Sugar, but it's my péché mignon.
Okay.
You know?
So there's the nutrition side.
Yeah. But
anything else?
Yeah. I was more thinking about like the sports actually.
Cool.
Because like since like 3 years, more or less, I like start like to do like sport like weekly, and so especially like climbing, because I really like go into like into this sport, because I really appreciate, like I start when I was like a kid, and I just like during some years I just like put it on the side, and after like since now a few years I'm like going like weekly like to climbing gym. And I also like do other sports like running, like swimming pool, swimming. And yeah, it make me like feel like better in my body, but also like feeling better like to in my mind, I guess.
That's beautiful.
Like to have like
Nice.
I was thinking that we will not make fun of each other during this interview.
Well, let's say it's natural. Cool. What thing, or I don't know, let's call it principle, would you teach somebody if you could?
And I didn't understand like the question like this, so we'll understand. Like,
Let me say it in Romanian.
it let me like go in like other stuff, but I understand more like, okay, what would you like to teach?
Yeah, what would you pass on?
It's not like something that I know, but it's something that I would like to learn.
Okay.
And if I can like after like learn and be able like to teach it, I will do it. And it's about like doing stuff with my hand. I mean like handiwork, construction.
Sculpture.
I think no. I was more talking about like, for example, like with our project, we did like a lot of renovation.
Yeah.
We start like learning.
So building.
The base of like how to
Building
work
stuff.
with woods.
Okay.
We have like some workers who are like doing a lot of stuff, and I think it's like really like valuable jobs, and I always like respect like this kind of stuff, and I will like be very happy like to know more about this, and to after like be able to teach it, because I think it was like not a regret, but it's something that I would have loved like to learn, when I was more younger, maybe like studying about this, like to work more with handiwork.
You have a personal challenge now.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Shall I continue?
If you want.
Yeah, so actually I also thought about this question. It's kind of hard. I'm not like good at many things, but I think like if
Come
I
on.
have to, like there is one thing coming into my mind directly is so let's begin with the story. So I'm from Lyon, south of France, really close to the Alps and to Switzerland. So like I'm really like used to go to the mountains every year, and I spend a lot of time in the nature generally. And since I'm like 3 years old, I go skiing a lot.
Oh,
Like
it's a lot.
almost like basically 1 or 2 months a year, like in matter of days. So I ski a lot, and like I reached quite a good level. And at some point when I was younger, I was really even thinking of like becoming a ski teacher.
That's nice.
And I love this sport like for many reasons, but first because like it's about like competition, and like it's a really like complete sport, let's say. But also like you are surrounded by mountains, nature, animals, you can see a lot of stuff, and I feel always really good with nice fresh air out of the city. And yeah, that's something I could do, like I would really like to do. Maybe if this project fails, I will go back to that. And I would really like to teach children, and like just people, and generally like it's about more like when I have friends coming with me, and like I like to lead the group and like to teach them stuff. So
that would be one
if
thing
someday
that
I have kids, I would like to teach them that.
Sounds nice. What's one of your investments that paid off?
Oof. I think we have this thing in common actually.
Yeah, let's share about it.
So if I can continue, like, so let's say that we have
There's a
like
story
decided straight to come to Romania.
There's a story here. Okay.
Yeah, if there is a story, like, but it can take a while to explain it all. So let's
go on.
let's try to go to the fast version. Yes. So let's say that a few years ago, like we were still having like regular jobs, Arthur and I. I was doing advertising, he was doing marketing. we know each other for a while, and like we are kind of childhood friends. And at some point, like we were really bored of what we were doing. And we were like arguing about the
How
perfect
can it be
definition
better?
of life. How could it be better? First decision we took was to drop our jobs. So people around us were like, "Are you crazy? You have like good situations. Like you have like
What are you going to do?
what are you gonna do? We don't know yet. Where are you gonna go? We don't know yet." So that was a lot of questions, and I think like so it was totally random. So before we went like a bit to travel like on our side, we met each other for a while like in South America, traveling together. And at some point we decided to go back to our city. We are both from Lyon, and we were a bit lost. And it was a total coincidence. We went to Romania with some friends for a small trip, a week I think, and we spent a few days in Bucharest. On the last day in Bucharest, after like a long night, you know what I mean, we told ourselves like, why not coming back to Romania? We love this country, like we have a really good feeling with like the country. We couldn't say that we love, we didn't really know it, but we had a good feeling with with the city, with like everything, like the country in general. Like we wanted to stay in Europe, to do something outside of France, and that was a big challenge like for us to like get to the point where we told ourselves like, let's maybe go back. And after a few months, like we decided to come back to Romania. We had nothing. We didn't really know the city. We didn't know anyone. And almost like a bit more than a year later,
Here we
like,
are.
in 2021, speaking to you, Daniel. So I guess that has paid off somehow.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
We will see like if you will pay like completely, if we like can reach all our goals and like finish like all this project and do all what we want to do. But
Good luck with it.
thanks.
What's one thing that people consider it in general speaking crazy, but you don't consider it crazy?
Actually, like if I can answer that, I would say that what a lot of people consider normal, I consider it crazy, and what I consider normal, a lot of people consider crazy.
Okay, so you have
See
a lot of
if I can develop it, you know, like
Let's choose
like
one.
we were just talking about this a bit before. So like I understood really quick that's like the regular like a pattern of like having a job from 9 to 6, like buying a small house outside of the city, having your dog, your big monospace wasn't for me. So
Okay.
this is like a normal pattern, and like what we did, leaving everything, starting something like in a country we don't know, having this kind of project can sound for some people like a bit crazy, or did sound for. Now it's a bit different because we did do it, but at the beginning it sounded a bit crazy. But I think like that's what exciting me, like having new challenges every day, and like we kind of realize that every problem can be dealt with like one by one, and I think a lot of people wouldn't do that, or wouldn't like are complaining about this everyday situation, but wouldn't do anything to change it. So I don't know if that answers the question, but
It answers it, yeah.
Yeah, it's maybe a bit redundant, but I was like thinking a bit the same, you know, like for me, like what we did like was a bit crazy, like for I would not say like normal people, but like for example, or for
Friends and
family or friends, sorry, like some of them, not all, you know, but it's just like, okay, you say, yeah, I'm quitting my job, and now I'm going like to Romania. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have jobs, I don't have friends, I have nothing, but I'm going to Romania.
I have a bun Arthur, huh?
So, okay.
Okay.
Ești nebun.
Ești nebun.
But yeah, it's how it is, and yeah, I think like taking like this kind of risk is crazy, like for most of the people, and
Okay.
but at the same time that's how you create happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's beautiful again.
Good intervention. What would you put on a poster that would be seen by the entire world?
Well, so if I can start, I think it was it's a bit difficult like for me to don't go to like cliche, you know, but because when you're you think about this, like if you have like the opportunity like to talk to like the entire like entire humanity, thank you. You want like to spread like a message of like happiness, of joy. And for me, like the biggest problems that I can see are like the inequality that you can see like between people, like people who are starving, you know, and like other people who don't have like this kind of problem, who have like very different like problems about like how I'm going like to pay my house, my new house for 25 years, you know. We are like not talking about the same things. And also like about nature, because I think I'm really like affected, not affected, but I'm very concerned, yeah, about like nature and the climate and global warming.
Okay.
And so I will try like to make a poster to say to people, okay, like just like change your way of like living, you know, of like consuming. Stop running just about like money and get like richer and richer.
Wake up
just,
a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Try to understand like what make you happy. Do you think
Okay.
if you have like a new car, a new computer, you will be happier? I don't think so. So
That's
I'm
the
a bit
direction.
I'm a bit pessimist about like
We'll see.
humanity. So
You'll see.
so I will try to spread like this kind of message, but in a good way, not in a cliche way.
Nice.
Okay, so if I can say something.
I think you can.
Yeah, I can, because that's the point of this interview. So I would say that there is something that comes into my mind directly.
Yes.
So to start, it comes from like one of my favorite movie, which is called in French La Haine. So in English, The Hatred. So like to tell you a bit about the story, like it's happening in the hood, so in a bad district next to Paris. And like these people don't have really hope. They are really poor and like struggling with a lot of stuffs. And these three guys like are getting to the city, working to the city, and at some point they get in front of a big wall with a huge poster saying like the world is ours. So how would you say it in Romanian? Like lumea e noastra?
Yep.
Bine. So like they get to like in front of this poster and like they start like arguing about this, and it marked me because like first the picture is really nice, so I really recommend you to watch this movie, Daniel Stanciu, and also like also because I believe it's full of sense. So in a way, like as we were saying before, like sometimes like we are just like struggling with our everyday life, but I think it's important to remember that you can keep it simple. What makes you happy? What would you like to do? And the world is yours or is ours in the way that like it's full of possibility. And sometimes like something that would make you happy, it's like not the most obvious way, but still remember that you can like choose it, and like you can take risk. You can choose something that would make you happy.
What do you do when you're not focused? When you can't concentrate on something, on a task, let's say?
I stop everything and I just go out.
You go out
Yeah.
in nature, or it doesn't
Well,
matter?
it depends, like if you can, but like I try
just
like
stop.
to just go, you know, out to let's
So
like, do
break.
something, yeah.
Break time.
To go climbing if I
Do
can.
something different.
But like
Okay.
yeah, to just like stop, you know, and you just like go out, you just like try to breathe, you know, some fresh air, to have sun on your face if you can. But I mean like to just like stop.
Stop.
Yeah, I would say kind of the same.
Original.
Like when and it's really nice here because like I would say most of the time, because now the time is kind of, the weather is kind of bad, but yeah, we have really nice parks, really nice area to work around. I really like also like coffee. I would go like to a specialty coffee shop and have a nice cup of coffee and like
Okay.
take some fresh air.
If happiness would be the national currency, how would you get rich? what job would make you rich?
Actually, the job we are making now is kind
We are
of
already very rich.
it's kind of that. Like we chose happiness, and like we decided, like for now for sure we are not like rich, like speaking of money, but we are full of new experiences. We learn a lot about ourselves, about like different cultures and stuff, and see that's what is making us happy. So, in my perspective, this job I don't consider this project as a job, and that just makes me happy to wake up every morning and to do what I do. So.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I will do it even like bigger, like do like this kind of project of like having like community, of like having a lot of interaction with people, but like doing it not in a city, like in a countryside, in like a very huge house, mansion, you know, like I think the space is really important. Like, so, I mean, the space that hosts the people needs to have also like a soul,
Yeah.
and to have like some space, some nature, like to also like help people to develop like creativity and like to be. I think it's important to be in contact with like nature and to be a bit
Nice.
free.
What book or books would you give to all of your friends as a gift?
Again, that's a really like complicated question, because for sure like you have different kind of friends, of people. Do they like to read? Don't they like to read? But if I had like to choose one specific one, let's say universal, that would like fit almost everyone, I would say the old guy that reads love novel. So it's a really like nice book, really nicely written and small, also like you can read it in a few hours. So it's from Sepulveda, it's a Spanish writer, and it's about a guy, an old guy living in the Amazons, and reading all day long love stories. So he's like kind of retired, he doesn't work anymore, he is living in a really small village. So it's just about like the simple life. The guy like is learning to read, and he enjoys really much love stories with happy endings. So he's just really happy with his everyday life. He has his few friends in the village. He knows a lot about nature, he knows the name of every plant, every animal, everything in his small village. And at some point, like, gets a challenge, like there is a tiger coming in the city, and he has to go hunt it. And it's about like the challenge, like let's say the meeting of this guy and this animal, like preparing everything, feeling every feeling of this animal that is part of the same land. And it's really, really well written and really interesting.
Okay.
So from my side, I must say that I'm not a big reader, and like most of the books that are interested me like since the last like years are like about like criminal, about like serial killers, this kind of thing. So I will maybe not like recommend it. I mean, it's I can recommend it actually, because I think it's really interesting and fascinating, because like for me it's just you can just like see how much like there is like crazy people, you know. It's a bit like a reminder. I don't know, I've always been like a bit fascinating by this, so it's hard to explain why, and I just don't think it's a subject now, but I read like also like a book by like Noam Chomsky, Propaganda, Media and Democracy, and I really like it, and I remember like really well that it not opened my eyes, you know, but it was just like a guy who was explaining basically like how like the big country and the powerful country in the world can like manipulated like the society with like influence, like, yes, society, and how it happened like also like during the Cold War with like Russia and this kind of stuff, and I was like very impressed, and I was like also like I really enjoy like to discover a bit more about like how it works, because obviously like we know all this. I mean, we know that these kind of things happen, but he was explaining more like the backstage, let's say, of like all this.
What's one fear that you have, let's say, defeated, and what did you learn from the experience?
So I would say so Arthur was talking about climbing before, so that's a passion we have in common. Another passion we have in common. So I started like a year ago to climb, and I really enjoy it. And the funny thing is that I'm afraid of height. So I have a really small vertigo. It's not a big one, but still, when I getting really high, sometimes I can be scared. That's something that I noticed when I was young, also starting to ski. First time I really noticed it, I was 7 years old, and I went on the top of the Eiffel Tower, and I got so scared. Wow, I was grabbing the walls, and I wanted to come down. I thought I was gonna die. And so that's something I'm trying to fight, because at the end it sounds kind of stupid, this kind of phobia, it's irrational, it doesn't make any sense. And climbing is helping me through that, trying to get higher and higher and higher, and to see how it goes. And at the end you see that this feeling is you can work on that, and I think you can overcome it. So I'm not totally done with that, but that's something I'm working on it, and it's always interesting to face your fears and to see where they're coming from, trying to understand this.
Okay.
On my side, I think I was very shy when I was more a child, and I needed it was not helping me to just talk, and sometimes I have a lot of things to say or to do, and I was not able to do it for this. So this last years I think I get more confident, and it helped me to also be more open with this. And I also on let's say on physical fear, I'm not very comfortable with water and sea. And I can see that since a few years actually, just up here, I have a deep. I'm afraid about the immensity of the ocean, for example, and I will be so scared to be on a boat and to sail, But I really want to do it actually, because I like the idea of just going through this, and having a bit the feeling of not being comfortable, but you can you don't have choice, and I think that if I will be in a storm on a boat, I will shit myself, but it will maybe help me. Yeah, to have fun, to have a good some adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's my next project.
Let's see how it goes. To what fact do you attribute the biggest successes in your life, but your biggest failures? What brought you to them?
So I have a really easy question for you, Daniel.
What?
I'm too young to answer this kind of questions.
You're too young.
Yeah.
You're older than me though.
I'm 28, for sure, I had successes, a failure, I'm still learning from my stuffs, but I don't have enough perspective to answer this question, to be honest.
Sure.
Well, I'm older than you, I'm 29, so I can reply to this question.
Awesome.
Can you just repeat it to be sure?
What brought you your biggest successes in life,
Mm-hmm.
and what brought you your biggest failures in life? To what thing or fact do you attribute them?
Well, success, I would like to speak again about this project, but I don't really. I mean, it's a success until now,
Yeah.
because we are happy of it, but we have it's still a long road, to say that it's a success. So if I think about another success in my life, it was when I was working on my first job. I entered in the company as an internship.
Okay.
And the first month was terrible actually, because I didn't understand what I was doing. I was I didn't I think I didn't understood that what was really work. You need to to be like focused, and I was still a bit like in the after like school. I was still a bit like young in my mind, I'd say.
Okay.
And I saw that the company has like a office in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, and I start like to just like like dream, oh, it can be nice like to go there. And like 4 years later I was there like in Sao Paulo, and I achieved like this, not dream, I mean this was not a dream, but it was like a goal, yeah.
So what brought you to that goal
I think
in those
like
4 years?
Work for sure, work and determination, because at a certain point, as I said, like the first month was not really good, and I have like a kind of interview with my manager, and she tells me like, okay, like it's it's terrible, it's you need like to do something, like you can do worse or something like this. So it was like really, okay, now you can only like do best. And from this point I start like to also like change my behavior, let's say in my life. I stopped smoking.
Nice.
And yeah, it's
okay.
Work and determination.
And the failure part?
Failure part. So what will be like the fact to like?
What brought you failures?
I think like less of motivation when I was not convinced about like the projects that I was doing. I just like start to like put it on the side and just like lose patience, and it's really important like for me like to do something that
makes sense.
That makes sense, that I like, but yes, that makes sense. Like at certain point I also like understood also in this job that I have like to do something more concrete. That I need like to touch what's the final like result of like what you're doing, and it's really important for me.
If you lose tomorrow everything you have, what would you do?
I have something first in mind, like what I have done before and that I will done again. Leave everything to travel. I will just like find the money to buy a flight and just go to take some fresh air. I don't know, like I have many places I still want to. Yes. Many places that I still want to visit, and travel has always helped me like to take perspective from like what I'm doing, to meet new people, new culture, like to just see new things and new opportunities, and that like create new things. Like it's easy to find like small jobs for a while and just enjoy life, and that's what I would do. Anyway, even I think like if this project is like successful at some point, I will for sure like take some time to travel like before starting another one, because that's something that is essential for me. Like at some point, like just take everything and leave and come back someday.
I will go like to countryside, I don't know where, and restart everything like from scratch. But I'm fed up of city. I think I will be fed up of city.
So the countryside. If you could give an advice to a younger version of you, what would you do or say?
I would say like believe in yourself, like follow your instinct, because that's something that I believe like I have always like been right to follow. So sometimes you think about something, for example, let's take a like concrete example, as Arthur was saying, like we were like in regular jobs, you are at your desk every day and you tell yourself, what the hell am I doing here, like I need to do something else, and sometimes you don't have the courage to do it. If I was myself like now being in that situation, I would tell myself like stop losing time, just quit your job now and do something else. And like it's about like following instinct, and just sometimes don't be scared to take risks, even if like people tell you like that you are crazy sometimes, because for sure like what you want to do is not like sometimes most of the time like just a normal path. Just believe in yourself and take risk, and that's all.
It will happen. Okay.
And me, I will say, listen, young man. I will say like think what you really want to do, and like do what you want to do, and not like what society wants you to do. Because I think it's also like when you're younger, you have like this kind of pressure, of like, okay, you There is like a lot of people who say you need to do that, and most of the time you just like believe them because you think they're right, but sometimes they are not right because
They don't know.
they are like, no, it's not that they don't know, but they are just like different of you, and you don't have like you're not like in the same
mindset.
yeah, and in the same like mindset again.
Yeah, and I think
It
a lot
just-
of, yeah. Go on, please.
No, I think you just like understand what I'm saying, so it's why you want like to continue and finish. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are like seeking for security and like are so scared about like any risk, like general like decision in your life. But I think it can get really boring to think like that. Like I think you can really like get out of your life, or like I don't know how to say that, but like it's a big part of like the adrenaline and the like the happiness that you can get in your life.
There is no just one model of life. This is like bullshit.
To what? Actually, let's put it this way. What do you think it's the best method or way of getting what you want or desire?
So besides using your body,
Especially if you want to grow.
no, I'm joking. I think it's determination and work. If you really want something, you need like to like go for it and like to just like do all the things that you have in your power, like to do it. So to meet people, like to quit your job if you have a job to quit, like to just like to never like also like let people say no, and to let people like discourage you, because it's important like to always like get focused on this and see if you really want it, like you can do it. Just do it.
Actually, I would say the same. I would just add like to also trust yourself, because for sure like with new decisions can come a lot of like doubts. Just like believe in yourself and see how it goes. And I think failure is not so a problem. Like we have this sometimes, like I know that in France, but maybe the same in Romania, you have like this fear of failure, you know. You say, oh, what if I fail? Like it's not a problem to fail. Even like if this project like at some point like we fail and we have to start something else, it doesn't matter. Like we have learned a lot, and like anyway, like what we had so far was way stronger than just like something boring, you know, like a boring job. So I would say like just take your chances.
Take your chances. If you hear the word success, what's the first person that comes to your mind, and why do you think he succeeded?
It's kind of difficult like, for me like to reply like, to this question.
Okay.
As I told you, I don't really have like model or this, and I don't know. It's always like hard because like when I hear like this question, I think too much, and so I try like to think about like a success man, and I was thinking about Paul Bocuse, which is like a chef from my hometown, Lyon. And so this guy is now dead, like he died 2 years ago, something like this. And it's just like very famous in Lyon, but also like in France and worldwide. Yeah, he just like introduced like the gastronomy, and he make like Lyon as a capital of gastronomy. And he's not only success because he's like a good chef, and he built like he owns some restaurants. Like I don't even know like how many restaurants he owns, but he also like try to like teach this. He creates some school like for cooking, for like waiters. So he try also like to give like what he knows.
Yeah.
His knowledge to transmit it, and he's also like a model like for a lot of like other generation of like good chef. And I think for me this is like success, you know, like when you're like humble enough like to also like spread your knowledge and to teach to other people, to help them like to be successful.
Yeah, same as Arthur, like I would say that success is really relative. It really depends of what are your goals, what are your criteria. Like I would say mine are like happiness and freedom. So like I don't have like just one model of like a not happy and like free man. I would say that just like a lot of people would answer with people that get a lot of money or like that are really known. These are not none of my criteria, you know. So I don't really care of like getting rich someday. I don't really care of getting famous. Like I would be really like I would feel like my life is a success if just like I feel like good with myself, happy, and for sure with enough money to live. But that's all. So like I don't have any really real example to give you, but that's just how I see things.
Last question. What do people never ask you and you wish they would?
Is it? Is there a question? No, I don't know. Do you have an idea, Hugo?
Yeah, actually, like I would just say that I don't really like to talk about myself generally, so I do an exception for this interview. But like, if people don't ask me, like people generally ask kind of questions, you know. I would say like, what question I don't like people to ask, or didn't like, was like, what job are you doing? What do you do in life? And you always like answer with like random answers, like I'm doing that, and you don't believe in what you are saying. So I'm really happy now. And when people ask me like, what are you doing in life? I can answer like I'm having this awesome project, like it's a co-living, a co-working, a community. We are gonna open soon like a coffee shop. We have a lot of exciting stuff happening. So that's something I'm really happy to talk about. When before like when I used to talk about my job in advertising, I wasn't like that excited.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would prefer to skip the subject and talk about something else.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, it's funny because there is like so this kind of random question who can like you can see like when you answer to this question you can see directly if like the person is happy or not. And I used to also have like all these questions, you know, like what are you doing, and like the person just asking you, but actually she don't care, you know. It's just like random questions that you do because okay, like who are you, what's your name, where you're coming from, what are you doing, like, are you really interested into this or
Yeah. And how do you define yourself also, like what's important for you? Because before like I used to be a lot of things, but surely not defined by my job. No, for sure this activity is more a part of myself than before. So it depends. And people like sometimes have like stupid like pre-made answer and doing marketing, brainstorming, blah 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 blah. It's not really interesting. And, like you pretend to like give a shit when you don't. And that's all I would say. But for now, like I don't have anything else to say.
no?
Good. That's all, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daniel.
I think we would like to also thank you, Daniel, to give us like the opportunity like to express ourselves in English.
Yeah, and sorry for not speaking Romanian. We have been here for 1 year and we are doing our best. Next time maybe in Romanian.